Peavy's strikeout high for the season is 11, and it came in his first start of the year, April 3rd, against the Dodgers, and he struck out 11 in 5 innings. Beat LA 6-1. 1-0 to Furcal. Well hit to right field. Nevin didn't see it off the bat and got a late break and doesn't make the catch. It bounces off the warning track. Furcal stumbled a little bit around second, but he still makes it to third. And we'll wait to see how they score that one. Nevin got a very, very late start on that ball.
You just can't hide guys. He's an infielder. They got him stuck in the outfield, and he was in trouble all the way on this ball. That has to be an error, doesn't it? I mean,
I would think so. The way he kind of drifted on it, it actually went off his glove. Should have been caught. And it is indeed an error. A 3-base error charged to Nevin. And a chance for Marcus Giles to add to the Braves' lead. They are on top 2-1. Giles is 0 for 2 tonight. He's going to test Nevin, who's looking for help. He was looking at Kotsay, but says he's got it. And he does. And the inning is over, so the 3-base error doesn't hurt. We go to the 6th inning of play, 2-1 Braves.
let's check out tonight's game summary presented by Armor All. Home runs have been the story. Home runs and good pitching. I know that sounds funny, but that's been the case here tonight. Here's Joe.
Rondell White with a homer for San Diego, and Chipper Jones and Javi Lopez with homers for the Braves. Top of the order for San Diego in the 6th inning. Ramon Vasquez has fanned twice. Ortiz has struck out 4 in all. Ortiz's last start came at St. Louis. It was the only win for the Braves in that 3-game series at Busch Stadium. And he pitched into the 9th inning, but couldn't get an out in the 9th, or he would have had a complete game. 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. He won the game 7-2. He gets Vasquez to chase a high one, 1-2.
Both pitchers have been able to work up there with good effect tonight.
Both have fastballs that are good enough to get away with it.
And that's one thing where the radar gun is significant. If you can pitch up there and do pitch up there, and all of a sudden that number starts to go down, you better get them out of there.
Off the thumbs to short. Furcal has it, 1 out. Tough night for Vasquez. 2 strikeouts and an infield pop, and here's Kotsay 0 for 2. Kotsay now 5 for 33 in his career against Ortiz. If you want some basis for that decision on that question, Atlanta 41-18 so far on the year at home. 0-1. One of the marks that stands out for Russ Ortiz for the year, just a .221 batting average against him by the rest of the National League. That's 6th best in the National League. But right-handers came into the game tonight hitting only .171 against him. Well hit to right center, but it hangs up a little bit, and Sheffield runs under it for the out. Kotsay must have caught that off the end of the bat a little bit. 2 down, and Mark Loretta the batter. All 3 hits tonight for the Padres come from right-handed hitters. 2 by White, 1 by Loretta.
Russ Ortiz from Oklahoma, as you mentioned, your school. Oklahoma, called the Oklahoma Sooners. Tell the folks why that's their nickname, Joe.
Land run. Oh, you know.
I do, because I'm from the Midwest, but a lot of people don't because they're not from our part of the country.
Yeah. So you've been sitting over there for 3 innings trying to figure that out, and
I just thought, as a service to our viewers around the country, you would share that with them. If it creates a problem, let it go.
no, I think most people know what they are. They were people who came across the line too soon ahead of the gun that went off to celebrate the land rush in 1889. April 22nd. They probably came across on the 21st or sooner.
When the wind came sweeping down the plain.
21st or sooner.
I got it. Thank you for sharing that with us.
In the air to center field, caught by Andrew. And the sooner we get out of this, the better. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Atlanta.
Major League Baseball on TBS, brought to you by Wachovia Securities. Together we can achieve uncommon results. And Wendy's Crispy Chicken Nuggets. It's better here.
Gary Sheffield has grounded out and walked tonight, trying to extend a 17-game hitting streak. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1 Atlanta. Want to know the count? Sheffield, Chipper Jones, and Andrew Jones, the heart of the order against Peavy. 2-0. Peavy throws across his body a little bit, Skip, stepping a little toward the third base bat or the right-handed batter's box. And then he's got a little bit of a 3/4 delivery too. It looks like he's talking to himself some. 3-1 to Sheffield.
He's a pretty good player for a 15th round draft choice, but that proves what an inexact science that is. Scouts tell you that.
Strike 2 call. Peavy's only walks tonight came in the 4th inning. 1 to Sheffield, 1 to Fick. He also gave up a double that inning to Chipper Jones, but Sheffield was thrown out at the plate. He won't be thrown out at the plate on this one. He can try. He's hit in 18 straight. That's his 30th homer and his 96th RBI.
He was upset about strike 2, but now he's very glad it was called a strike. Number 30, 96 RBIs. Boy, what a year he's having.
And a very typical Sheffield homer, wouldn't you say? Just one of those line shot lasers.
Yeah, he hits the ball as hard as anybody in baseball.
Like a hanging slider. And as you see, ties his career high that he established as a Padre. Here's Chipper Jones with a home run and a double himself. 0-1. It's the 7th time in Chipper's career that he's hit a home run in 3 or more consecutive games. He's hit 1 in each of these 3 games against San Diego. 1 time in his career he homered in 4 straight games. That was in July of '99. Two and 1. Chipper now 6 for 10 in this series, and his average back up over 290 to 291. Foul tip, 2-2. Pitches for Peavy. And the Padres get some action in their pen. 93-mile-an-hour fastball in on Jones's hands and fouled off.
Luther Hackman is the right-hander throwing in the bullpen.
Another 2-2 pitch. Full count. They make an appeal, but he didn't go.
No, he didn't go either. It looks so easy when we see it slowed down, but you got to remember it's in a twinkling of an eye for the umpire.
3-2 pitch. Got him. Chipper Jones was on his way to first and didn't like the call, but strikeout number 7 for Peavy.
Well, let's take a look here. Might have been a little bit inside, but close.
Threw a little bit of a Greg Maddux backup fastball there, didn't he? Andrew Jones has lined out and struck out. Takes a ball. 2 for his last 22. He went on the check swing, 1-1. Out of play, heads up, Pete. Almost got Pete Van Wieren, but nary a flinch. 1-2 the count. Pete and former Brave Mark Grant, who does TV work for the Padres, talking about that near miss. 2-2. Mark was telling me a funny story before the game. He was a member of that 91 worst to first team and talking about how Tom Glavine always teases him that instead of keeping you up, Mark, about how he ought to have pom-poms on his championship ring instead of his name and number. He's a beauty.
That yawn, 47 and 74 will do that to you.
Payoff pitch. He did walk Andrew Jones. Send it to Aaron Andrews for an update.
Well, Joe, we're going to go to the bench. Bottom of the 4th, runner on 3rd for Mike Lieberthal. He rips Wes Obermuller's hanging breaking ball to left. Placido Blanco scores. Philly extend their lead to 4-2. That's the way it stands right now in the bottom of the 7th. Philly trying to regain the NL wild card lead, guys.
All right, Aaron, thank you for that update. Keep an eye on that Phillies score. That's going to spell the end of the night for Jake Peavy. He leaves trailing 3-1, and we'll be right back. Three to 1 Atlanta in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Padres make a pitching change and bring on Luther Hackman, who has been on fire. As you read his numbers for the year, he's 2-2 with his ERA at 3.65. But in recent days, he has not allowed a run in his last 6 appearances. That covers 8 innings. And even better than that, he has not allowed a hit over his last 3 appearances, covering 3 innings. So he's been doing a good job. He and Jay Watasek out of the bullpen for Bruce Bochy.
Remember how badly he was going when we faced him out there? We hit him very hard. But to his credit, he's gotten it turned around.
There's the line for Peavy. He has a runner at first that also belongs to him. Pitch count got up to 109, and on a humid night tonight, Bruce Bochy goes to the pen. Hackman 6'4", 195 pounds. Makes his home in Memphis, Tennessee. Came from the Cardinals last December.
Tell you what, Peavy was impressive all night long, and that reaction in the dugout you just saw impresses me as much as his good stuff. He knows pitched pretty well, but he's upset that he didn't pitch better.
Yeah, I like him a lot. You win 9 ball games for a ball club that's only won 47 all year. You're certainly carrying your share of the load. Andrew Jones draws a throw as Fick steps in. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Hit one deep to center his first time up, but was robbed by Kotze, who made a good play. Runner goes, and the pitch is high. Good pitch to throw on for Bennett, but a bad throw. He almost hit Hackman with that one. 4th stolen base of the year for Andrew Jones.
He got a great jump, did Andrew. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 steps before the catcher got the ball. And I don't know if he gets him with a perfect throw.
Good thing Big Luther ducked. So runner in scoring position for Fick with 1 out. Even though Roberts hit a dry spell here, he's been tough all year long with runners in scoring position. 2-0. A .330 mark for the year. Pitch inside 3-0. See if he gets a green light from Bobby Cox.
Why not? You got the lead. Hot pitcher out there, might get something better to hit now than you would at any other time.
Especially a guy who's coming in and hasn't thrown a strike yet. You might figure him to try to throw one right down the middle. Strike taken at the letters. 3-1. Fick has already bettered his RBI mark from a year ago. 63 with the Tigers. He has 64 for Atlanta. Klesko will make the play. Andrew Jones is at third, and he'll be there for Javi Lopez. 2 out. Lopez homered in the second, struck out in the fourth. Lopez has hit his 32nd homer of the year. Sheffield has hit his 30th. Chipper Jones has hit his 21st. 3-1 Atlanta. 1-0. Here's Javi's homer in the second inning.
What a year he's having. It's amazing.
Came a pitch after a close one on the corner that was not called strike 3. In the dirt. Nice stop by Bennett. 2-0. Arizona's trying to keep their winning streak going. They've won 4 in a row, and they've made it a 3-2 game. They trail Cincinnati in the 8th. Andrew Jones at third. Walk, stole second, went to third on a ground out. Klesko to have a look by the Braves dugout. Nope. 2-1. A lot of guys closing in on career marks before they even get to September. Three and one. Hackman got Fick on a 3-1 count. But he walks Lopez, and he'll face Castillo with runners on the corners. Jake Peavy walked 3, and now Luther Hackman has walked 1. Castillo has grounded out twice, once to the second baseman and once to the pitcher. Time called as Hackman takes too much time. Actually, the Padre dugout was calling time because they want Klesko not to hold Javi Lopez on at first base, but to play right behind him. And through the hole anyway, a base hit. Even having Klesko play out the bag, Castillo finds a hole and drives in Andrew Jones, and it's 4-1 on Castillo's 63rd RBI of the year. Good piece of hitting there by Vinny.
That's the difference in him this year, is he's using the whole ballpark and he's healthy, and I think the two go hand in hand.
And you can close the book on Jake Peavy. 5 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Walked 3 and struck out 7. Russ Ortiz has struck out twice. Two 2-0 the count. So Hackman, who hadn't given up a hit in 3 innings or a run in 6 outings, has just had that spoiled on both sides. Lopez to the plate. Rondell White with not much on the throw, cut off. And Russ Ortiz adds to the list. He has 7 RBIs on the year, and Atlanta leads 5-1. And that ball was sharply hit.
He hit this ball very, very hard, Joe. You're right. And Rondell, I don't know if his arm's still bothering him or what, but he got nothing on that throw.
And Rafael Furcal will bat, looking for his first hit of the night. He did reach base on a 3-base error by Nevin in the 5th inning. Runs, 6 hits for the Braves, including 3 solo homers. Hansen in front of the Padres dugout puts it away, and the inning is over. 3 runs on 3 hits, 2 left. We played 6 innings. 5-1 Braves. Fans don't miss Tiger Woods and the world's best golfers in second-round coverage of the PGA Championship on TNT tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The drama of the season's final major returns to TNT. And by the way, Phil Mickelson is the leader on that major tournament and playing quite well. Got off to a great start today. We go to the 7th inning, and once again, here's Skip.
Okay, Joe, thank you. Phil Nevin, the batter, 0 for 2. Ortiz has a little breathing room now, and he deals a strike. It's 0-1. 5-1 Atlanta. That's our score. Braves have 6 hits. Padres have 3. Off the plate, but fouled. He tried to pull an outside pitch. And it's 0-2. Nevin, Klesko, and White, the heart of the order up there for the Padres here in the 7th. Still 0-2. They're in the 8th now. The Phillies 4-2 over Milwaukee. Houston leads the Central Division by a half game over St. Louis and Chicago after the day's play. And the 0-2 pitch. Foul tipped into a strikeout. Nevin is out of there. Ortiz continues to roll merrily along.
His 5th strikeout, but the first one since the 3rd inning, and had a little zip on that fastball.
So Ryan Klesko is the batter. He has struck out and bounced to second. The count. Arizona comes to town tomorrow night. We'll have it on Turner South for you. In fact, all 4 games in the Arizona series on Turner South. And tomorrow we'll also be talking to the folks from Junkin, that antique program. So we'll find out what's what with that too. 1-2 the count. Ortiz delivers. Look at a little chin music. It's 2-2. Milwaukee has scored a run in the 8th. They're still batting. It's now 4-3 Philadelphia. Full count now, 3-2.
Despite a lot of success against the Padres in recent years, Russ Ortiz very respectful of the Padres, talking about how as a Giant and seeing them so often, you just could not overlook San Diego. You knew you'd have trouble with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, but if you look past San Diego, they'd always bite you.
Line drive, and he gets it into left field for a hit. So Klesko is aboard with 1 out. And here's Rondell White, who's 2 out of 2, a home run included. That home run provided the only Padre run to this point in the game. White out of Gray, Georgia. Runner at first, 1 out. Randy Johnson against Shane Reynolds here tomorrow night. Strike called, outside corner, 0-1. Then on Saturday night at 7:05, Horacio Ramirez against Elmer Descends. Sunday afternoon, Greg Maddux against Kurt Schilling. And then on Monday afternoon, Mike Hampton and Miguel Batista will pitch. Pop fouled, out of play. 0-2 the count.
Randy Johnson now with a record of 3-4 since he came back from the disabled list. Descends is 6-7. Kurt Schilling 6-6. He's been on the disabled list also with a broken finger for part of the season. Mike Hampton will be going after his 11th win.
The 0-2. Out of play into the upper deck. Still 0-2.
Hampton may be pitching better than anybody on the staff right now. He's been
sure
outstanding. Another great job last night.
Bobby keeps talking about we're not going to make any plans until we clinch this thing, or if we clinch this thing. He refuses, and rightfully so, to admit that it's a foregone conclusion in the National League East. Strike over the inside corner. White is out of there. That's the second out of the inning, both on strikes. But all you really want is to get 3 of your 5 starters going good. If you can do that going into the playoffs, you like your chances.
I think they've done that. I think this run of games that Russ Ortiz has been on, where he's gone 9-1 over his last 10 games. Hampton has won, I think, was it 7 in a row? And Maddox had his 5-game winning streak snapped in his last start. Those are 3 hot pitchers.
Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Now to keep them that way, that's the next hurdle to jump. Bobby could go with 4 starters in the playoffs, but I would be surprised.
And with all due respect to Horacio Ramirez, we're talking about those other 3 guys. He could easily have 3 or 4 straight wins if he'd had any help out of the pen.
2-0 the count.
And in defense of the bullpen, he actually gave up the home run the other night that tied the game against St. Louis, but he pitched brilliantly.
And he's just scratching the surface. That's what makes you feel so good about the future. But that's a strike, 2-1.
What I really like about him was that when he hit that little lull about a month ago, it would have been easy for him to kind of fold his tent as a young player, especially when you're surrounded by these veteran pitchers, but he didn't, and he's bounced back to pitch great.
The 2-1 pitch on the way. High and outside, 3-1. In case you missed it earlier, the Mets were scheduled at home rather against the Giants. Unable to play because of that blackout in New York. And they don't know yet when that game will be rescheduled. The 3-1 pitch. Pop fouled out of play. Jarrett Wright begins to throw in the bullpen for the Padres. And Hansen awaits a 3-2 pitch.
You know what, you can almost see this coming with the Giants and the Mets. With the Giants and the Braves so close with respect to the best record in the National League.
Runner goes, and the inning is over, and he strikes out the side, and we'll talk about it when we get back. Go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Braves lead it 5-1.
Seventh inning stretch complete. Braves up 5-1. The thought I had, Skip, about that Giants and Mets game was, what if that game meant something with respect to who has the best record at the end of the season, and the Giants had to go all the way back to New York just to play that one game to determine who had the best record.
Marcus Giles leads off the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, no strikes. I don't have their schedules in front of me, but I bet you they'll try to play it before that to avoid that cross-country trek for one game. 2-0 the count. Although they do it in the NFL all the time. The 2-0 pitch. That's going to reach the seats. It's 2-1.
The team with the best record plays the wild card team unless that wild card team comes from your division. So it could affect the scheduling too in terms of who plays whom.
But you know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. If Randy Johnson comes all the way back, and he probably will, and if Kurt Schilling comes all the way back, in fact, they both are very close to 100% now, and Arizona winds up the wild card team, do you really want to play them?
I wouldn't. I don't care who they are.
Exactly.
Who would get matched up with them?
The 2-2 pitch. Still 2-2. That's why that 3 out of 5 series, that's a real
bummer.
I think so.
Yeah, me too.
That's down to almost luck. 2-2 the count. High fly ball. That's pretty well hit right field. Nevin on the run into the corner. And it drops foul. It's still 2-2.
Well, Marcus comes back to the plate. Time for our Holiday Inn Express in the booth question. It comes from Daniel Matthews Jr. of Watkinsville, Georgia. He wants to know who do you think is the favorite for the NL Cy Young Award? And I think there's several candidates myself, Daniel, not the least of which Russ Ortiz here for the Braves. But the two guys that are battling for that saves award, Eric Gagne of the Dodgers and John Smoltz of the Braves, got to be ranking up pretty high in that tally too.
Grounded foul, still 2-2.
Jason Schmidt of the Giants will get some attention.
I almost wonder if there shouldn't be separate awards for relievers and starters because their jobs are so different.
Well, there is the
Cy Young and the
Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year.
2-2 the count.
But that's kind of the way I feel about the MVP award too. If there's an award for the most outstanding pitcher, and that's the Cy Young Award, then why should that person also be considered the most valuable player?
Well, if Albert Pujols doesn't win that award, barring a total collapse, there's something wrong.
He's the leader in the clubhouse.
I would say so. Getting back to that playoff situation, the whole thing drives you nuts anyway. If you haven't proven all you have to prove after 162 games, I mean, playoffs are there because of television money. We all understand that, but just missed 3-2.
What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying if after 162 games you haven't proved who the best teams are in each league, something's wrong. That's foul. It's hit like a rocket shot.
Boy, Giles can go up there and put on some displays with the bat. Tough at bats, tough outs. He'll pull one hard, just like the one you just saw. He'll hit one deep down the right field line. Tough to pitch to.
Sharply hit. Vasquez had it hit off his foot. That'll be a boot in all likelihood. And it is. And a good start for Atlanta in the 7th inning.
Must have gotten him somewhere on the hand too, Skip. He's shaking his hand like maybe it got him on the thumb as well. Ball came up on him.
Maybe he was just hopping because he was angry. I thought he was hopping because the ball hit him in the leg. And you're right.
Got his bare hand, didn't it?
Here's Gary Sheffield. Bounced out, walked, and homered. Oh, 0-1 the count.
A 3-2 pitch, a hanging breaking ball, and didn't leave any doubt about it.
Another screamer. A mile high, but he missed it into short left. Vasquez is out there. He puts it away for out number 1. And Chipper Jones, the batter, he has struck out, but he's also doubled off the top of the right center field wall and homered over the right center field wall.
His home run, the first run of the night for Atlanta, to the opposite field. 21st of the year.
Fastball up and in, 1 ball, no strikes.
I think it's also with respect to determining who has the best record in the National League. So much is affected by what division you play in. This grossly unbalanced schedule.
Yeah.
If you're in the National League East, you're playing tough teams 19 times each. Only the Mets have really fallen out of it.
There goes the runner. They'll never throw him out. In fact, they don't even try. Mark is now 11 out of 13 in the stolen base department. He got a tremendous jump.
It's kind of fun when you just can glide into second base and don't have to slide, get your uniform dirty. Realize you picked a good pitch to run on.
They don't pay attention to him. He might be standing over at third. Strike called over the inside corner. 2-1.
Considering the damage Chipper has caused the Padres in this series, I'm a little surprised they're pitching to him.
There he goes. Ground ball to first. Good play. Hackman does his job, but Klesko wins the race for out number 2. Runner at third with 2 out. Giles was trying to steal third and would have had the ball not been hit.
And he made a big turn at third base too. He may have had a notion of trying to score, and if he had known that Klesko was going to slide into the bag at first base, he might have tried to score.
So here's Andrew Jones with a runner at third and 2 out. Braves already lead it 5-1. 5 runs on 6 hits. Padres 1 run on 4 hits. Foul tipped at home plate. 0-1. Hackman in his second inning of work has thrown 35 pitches in this game. Cincinnati held on, beat Arizona 3-2 tonight. Oh, 0-2 the count.
They beat that young pitcher, that rookie Webb, who will be the only starter for the Diamondbacks that the Braves won't see.
I'm disappointed in that. I was looking forward to seeing him pitch. They say he's going to be a very, very good one. The 0-2 pitch. Into left center field. There's an insurance run home. And Andrew can run for a while. He will pull in at second with an RBI double. He drives in his 86th run of the year.
By far his best swings in 5 or 6 days tonight. A line out in the first inning. Struck out in his second at bat, but he's hit the ball hard a couple of times, both fair and foul, but he jumped on a high pitch there. Stole a base earlier too, so that was a good sign.
Robert Fick is the batter. Again, first base is open. Again, they're going to pitch to him. It's 6-1 Atlanta. Into short center field. That ball will be caught by Loretta, and the inning is over. So Fick loops one, but Loretta able to make the catch. An unearned run scores on 2 hits, a costly error, 1 left. 7 innings have gone by. 6-1 Atlanta.
Stay tuned. Now it's time for In the Dugout, presented by Phillips and Best Buy.
Come on, Phil. Stay within yourself, Phil. Stay within yourself right here. Make me come and see you. That'll boy. That'll get him. Thank you very much. That's right.
Terry Pendleton and Jim Lovell celebrating in the Braves dugout. Remember what inning it is right now and log on to the TBSSuperstation.com for more information on the In the Dugout sweepstakes presented by Phillips.
We go to the, well, I can't tell you what inning it is, can I? It'll ruin the contest.
Yeah, you got to know.
We go to another inning in this game, and Gary Bennett will lead it off, and he loops one foul down the first base line. 0-1 the count.
Just a little hint.
This is like walking through a minefield. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball fair down the third base line. They had him played wide of the bag, and he made him pay. And Bennett is at second. And Gary Matthews Jr. will come out to pinch hit here. We're in the inning that comes between the 7th and the 9th. We can't tell you what the inning is.
Matthews has had a good series. Had a home run in game 1 of the series. Played yesterday. Had a double. As the Braves bullpen gets busy.
Matthews, a taller edition of his father. Boy, his batting style is similar. Facially looks a lot like his dad.
Gary Matthews Sr. had over 2,000 hits. Had a very good major league career.
Hitting instructor now for the Chicago Cubbies.
Brian Moyer looked it up for us. Skip, the Mets and the Giants have one common off day the rest of the year, and that's August 25th. Coincidentally, both teams are on the West Coast. The Giants are at home and the Mets are in LA. So would they dare play it in San Francisco, even though it was scheduled for Shea Stadium?
Where are the two teams going after that common off day? Do we know?
We can find out.
If they're going east, the Mets might be, but I wouldn't doubt that the Giants would be that late in the year. Well, we'll let the schedule makers who've done such a bang-up job worry about that.
They both travel. Mets go to Atlanta. The Giants go to Colorado.
Well, let's see. To make it fair, they should play that game in Omaha.
Well, they could.
Which is right by the Denver airport, as I recall. 3 balls, 1 strike. Runner at second and nobody out. And Matthews draws a walk, and Ortiz struggling here in the 8th. And now Bobby Cox has a decision to make. I think this is the toughest part of a manager's job. When is enough enough?
Well, anytime any of the Braves starting pitchers get close to that 110 pitch mark, Bobby Cox gets itchy. And just as he did in St. Louis when he wanted to give Russ every opportunity to finish the game, he's not going to run the risk of hurting him just to get the mark.
Yeah, well, he's itchy now. He's on his way to the mound, and they're going to make a pitching change, and we'll be back right after this.
Sports Control presented by MasterCard. We want to take you to Cincy, where the Reds have lost 16 straight to Arizona. Top of the 7th, Chad Muller hits a laser too short. Rayo made a great play, gets it to D'Angelo Jimenez for the double play to end the inning. Now with the loss, Diamondbacks are 2 games back in the NL wildcard. And of course, they'll be in Atlanta tomorrow. Guys?
That was a terrific play. Thank you, Aaron. And a reminder for you college football fans that college football returns to TBS this fall. I don't know. That's a pretty remarkable turnaround. It all kicks off September 6th when the Arizona Wildcats host the Tigers of LSU. Catch Big 12 and Pac-10 football action all season long on TBS.
2 on, nobody out. Ray King gets the call out of the Atlanta bullpen. Lou Merloni will come out to pinch hit for Ramon Vasquez and will doubtless stay in the game. At shortstop. 6-1 Atlanta, our score. The Padres, however, have mounted a threat here in the 8th. 2 on, nobody out. King has been a busy little bee this year. This is his 62nd appearance. to left center field. Nobody's going to get that ball. One will score. Two will probably score. Matthews can fly. And he will score standing up. And just like that, it's 6-3. He shut the book on Ortiz. 7+ innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, a homer. The 7 strikeouts equals a season high. He's now done it 6 times.
Really, a move that pays off for Bruce Bochy. He gets his ball club right back in it with Merloni's pinch hit double here. Merloni, released by the Red Sox this spring, broke a lot of fans' hearts in Boston. They loved him up there at Fenway Park.
Mark Kotsay is the batter. 1 ball, no strikes. Ray King, 3rd in the league now in appearances with 62. Paul Quantrill leads with 65. Villarreal has 64, and then King. Still nobody out here in the 8th inning. 1-1 the count. Kevin Grabowski still in the bullpen. Somebody else is up as well. I would guess it would be Kent Merker, but I can't see. Check it. It's John Smoltz already. Up and in, 2 balls and a strike.
And you know that Bobby and Leo do not like to use Smoltz more than an inning unless they absolutely have to.
It's a 6-3 ball game. Runner at second, nobody out. 2-2 to Kotsay.
Kotsay, a .286 hitter against right-handers, but just .214 against lefties, and he has not homered against the left-handed pitcher.
Chopper to first. The pitcher will have to cover close. Runner at third, 1 out. A lot of people ask, why is it so difficult for left-hand hitters to hit left-handers as opposed to right-hand hitters against right-handers? Bobby Cox on his way again. And I think the reason is that left-hand hitters just don't see as many left-handers growing up.
Well, you don't. There's obviously more right-handed pitchers in baseball than lefties, but those guys that have faced them all their career in the minor leagues, it's kind of odd they don't get the opportunity sometimes in the big leagues.
That'll do it for Ray King. He did his job, and we'll be back right after this.
At TBS Sports Control, presented by MasterCard. We're going to take you back to Camden Yards, top of the 7th O's with a 5-3 lead. Bases loaded for Bernie Williams. Singles up the middle. Alfonso Soriano and Derek Jeter score, and that would tie up the game at 5. Now bottom of the 7th, Yanks with a 6-5 lead. 2 on for Larry Bigby. Deep to left, Hideki Matsui with a sensational play. And Godzilla has proven he has a glove. Still 6-5, top of the 8th. Now back to Turner Field, guys.
Yes, he did, Aaron. Godzilla with the catch. AOL for broadband. Welcome to the worldwide wow, Godzilla. Log on to AOL.com for details.
Mark Loretta will hit here against Kevin Grabowski. Grabowski 5-3, a .415 earned run average. This is his 57th game of the year. Roberto Hernandez, who is now disabled, has pitched in 54. Kent Merker fits right in. He's at 50. Smoltz at 55. Bullpen has been very busy for Atlanta. Runner at third, 1 out. Infield will be playing back, willing to concede a run for an out, because any other base runner would bring a potential tying run to the plate.
And with Nevin and Klesko coming up behind Loretta, you don't want that to happen.
Kevin Grabowski goes to work. He shortened a bunt, took it outside, 1 ball, no strikes, and that's just why.
Yeah.
he gets on, he knows he's got his Bombers behind him and a chance to tie the game with one swing.
Not a bad idea. If nothing else, he made Castilla come in a few steps.
A ball and a strike to count. Runner at third, only one out. A couple of runs have scored. Loretta behind in the count. It's 1-2. Ryan Plesko looks on. Hoping to get a swing of his own in this inning. But Loretta is out of there on strikes. There's a big strikeout for Grabowski. And the Braves can get out of the inning without any further damage.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't come in and blow people away ordinarily, but he stayed with a fastball instead of going for the sinker and the ground ball and hit a good spot with it. A little bit of a backup on it. And Loretta, trying to guard the plate, came up empty. Good pitch.
Phil Nevin has lined to right. He has flied to right into a double play, and he has struck out. A little low. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner at third, now 2 out. The Diamondbacks here tomorrow night. 2 balls, no strikes. You got the left-hand hitter Ryan Klesko next. So Grabowski needs to battle back here on this 2-0 pitch. That's in there, 2-1.
We've been talking about the Mets and Giants all night and their game being postponed. Well, how about the return of Mike Piazza last night and what he did? Well, the Mets were happy to have him back. 3-hit night, including a homer.
Swinging bunt on the third base line. They let it roll, and it just misses the bag. Foul ball. What a break for Atlanta. Vinny Castilla knew he had no chance to throw him out. He did the right thing, and it just barely slipped by that base. If it nudges it even a little bit, it's an infield hit.
Nevin doesn't run that well, but he hits the ball so hard, Castilla has to play deep. And when you see where he is right now before the next pitch, you'll understand why he had no play on that ball and why he had to let it roll. Playing back there where you played Gary Sheffield.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Good cut, but he fouled it back. Still 2-2.
Nevin was the Golden Spikes Award winner at Cal State Fullerton in '92. Mark Kotze, the center fielder for the Padres, won that award for Cal State Fullerton in '96. Emblematic of the player of the year in college baseball.
The line, there's a base hit and a run is in, and the tying run comes to the plate. Good job by Nevin. On a 2-2 pitch, he rifled one to center field. That makes it 6-4.
Pitch that was up and away from him. Oh, hanger. I'm not sure if that was a slider or not because it really didn't move that much. And Nevin was able to more or less fight it off, but a good at bat by him, and it looks like the Braves will have to use John Smoltz here in the 8th inning, even though they don't like to.
Tell you what, Bobby Cox has had 2 knee replacement surgeries on each leg, and it's a good thing because he has been to the mound more this year than he has in the last 5 combined. Julio Franco is going to check in to play first base, and we'll get, in all likelihood, John Smoltz out of the bullpen, and we'll be back right after this.
Aaron Andrews at TBS Sports Control, presented by MasterCard. A big afternoon at the Metrodome for Indians rookie Travis Hafner. Top of the second, Hafner. A solo blast to start off his day, his 8th of the season. Top of the fourth now, an excuse me swing that, believe it or not, yes, it ends up being a double. More good fortune coming up. Top of the 7th, Hafner chops one for an infield single. And finally, the 240-pound Hafner laces one into the gap for the triple in the top of the 8th, the first cycle for the Tribe since Andre Thornton in 1978. Now let's send it to Turner Field. Guys?
Aaron, thank you. Hafner was hitting about 215, I think, coming into that game.
Andre Thornton was a huge guy, too, come to think of it.
Well, here's John Smoltz to pitch in a spot. The tying run comes to the plate, and it's the Padres' leading home run hitter in Ryan Klesko. As we told you, Julio Franco has checked in to play first base. Ryan tonight is 1 out of 3. And he takes downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
John did not have a save on the last road trip, so it's been a bit of a drought for him in that category.
A home run cut, but he came up empty. According to our stats, Klesko and Smoltz haven't yet to face one another. This is their first appearance. Base hit right field. Runner around second. He should go to third. There he goes after a bit of a hesitation. And now the go-ahead run comes to the plate in the person of Rondell White.
You mentioned it being a big out when Grabowski struck out Loretta. Now you understand why. With these guys coming up behind him, had he reached, it would have been all kinds of trouble, and there would only be 1 out. Nevin, when he hesitated a little bit, Skip, you know, he was doing the right thing. Before he got to second, he was picking up Rod Peachlow because he didn't want to make the third out at third base unnecessarily. He wanted to make sure that he got the wave to come on around.
Rondell White, a homer and a single on the night in 3 tries, takes outside. He is only 3 out of 17 against Smoltz in his career, as you see.
I didn't like the way Smoltz came off the mound on that follow through. Almost like he didn't feel right after that delivery.
Threw it right by him. 1-1, 99 miles an hour according to the board.
Nothing wrong with the fastball.
No, not that one. Phillies beat Milwaukee, by the way, 4-3 the final. Runners on the corners, 2 out the pitch. 1-2. You're right, though, Joe. He's walking around as if he's not 100%.
He's sure taking a lot more time between pitches than he normally does.
White steps out.
You get used to somebody's routine after so many years that you know it by heart, and it's just a little different tonight.
The 1-2 pitch. Popped it up. Short right field. Who wants it? Giles calls for it in foul territory, and the inning is over. But to their credit, the Padres come off the deck and score 3 times and make it a 6-4 game. Before Javi Lopez leads off the bottom of the 8th in a 2-run game, let's go to Paul Ryden. Paul.
You know, it's no question that the Padres have had a dismal season this year, but they got a spot of bright news on Tuesday here in Atlanta when in the indoor cages, their all-time saves leader Trevor Hoffman was down there throwing for the first time against live hitting since shoulder surgery back in February. He threw 30 pitches, used them all, fastball, changeup, breaking ball, threw well. And I talked to Padres manager Bruce Bochy before the game tonight. They said he'd like to have him back in there by September, if for no other reason than to give him a little bit of momentum into the offseason. Right now, his replacement, Rod Beck, is doing all right. 16 saves in 16 opportunities. He may be back next year. He said he wouldn't mind being Hoffman's setup man. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Paul, thanks. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Javi. Jared Wright is the pitcher. Pitch is fouled away. Gary Matthews Jr. stays in the game in left field. Lou Merlone stays in the game at shortstop for the Padres. Hackman won an inning and 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned. He had a walk. The 1-1 didn't get the breaking ball. 1-2 the count.
I know this guy's got a high ERA, almost 8, but he's got such a good arm, and he's battled so many injuries that you just figure on him somehow, some way. If you can get him 100%, get his mechanics right, he could be awfully tough again.
Just missed. 2-2. He doesn't have much of a follow through, does he? He just sort of slings it. Whatever works. Well hit into right center field. Long run for Nevin. That ball is gone. Another 2-homer night for Javi Lopez. That's 33 on the year. 1 away from his career high, and a very important insurance run is on the board.
I believe that's his 8th multi-homer game of the year. Fastball away from him. And it was a good fastball from right, except that it was up, and Javi takes it the other way. Out over the 390 mark.
Vinny Castilla is the batter. Grounded to short. Maloney boots it. Still throws him out. 1 down.
One out here in the 8th inning. Let's take a look at our Office Depot scoreboard. And as you check out the scores, Major League Baseball, remember, is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes in the Ultimate World Series Pass contest presented by Radio Shack. Winning hologram numbers will be announced throughout games 1 through 4, and then you can win the grand prize of World Series tickets for life, announced in Game 4 of the 2003 World Series.
Julio Franco bats in the 9th spot in the order and stands in there now. Strike on the outside corner. 7-4 Atlanta, our score.
Delgado hit his 33rd homer tonight for Toronto in a game just underway in Seattle.
Ball and a strike. 1 out, nobody on, but a run is in as Javi Lopez hit another home run high and far to right field. Good cut by Julio. 1-2 the count.
What a season. What a rebound for Javi Lopez.
Unbelievable. It really is.
You know, I really feel like, Skip, and I'm just a personal opinion, but it was his option whether or not he was going to come back and play for the Braves this year. It wasn't the Braves' option to pick him up. I don't think they would have picked up his option.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Franco argues about it, but Rapuano made the call. Didn't even ask for help. And that's what Julio is saying. Why don't you ask the guy? That's what he's there for. But
it's too late to ask now. It won't happen now.
Bobby's getting out there to keep his first baseman in the game. Fick has already played, and here's another look.
I think he went.
Yeah, I do too.
The difference here for Julio asking to ask him to help is a hitter can't request that. The umpire doesn't have to respond.
Strike called. It's 0-1.
You'll only respond if there's a request from the defensive side.
Which, when you stop and think about it, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does
No,
it?
it really doesn't. Except one thing.
Yeah.
And that is, if an umpire has just called you out and he's called you out as a strikeout, and you ask for help as the hitter, you think your other umpires are going to say, no, he didn't strike out.
Yeah.
Let him hit again.
There's that.
That won't happen.
That's going to be a tough play. Loretta got him. Good play, and the inning is over, but the home run by Javi Lopez is second of the night. Makes the Atlanta lead 3 runs. It's 7-4.
Before we go to the ninth, let's take a look at our Allstate Good Hands play of the night. It came in the top of the first inning. Ground ball by Kotze. A leaping throw from behind the second base bag by Marcus Giles for the out. What a play. You're in good hands with Allstate and Marcus Giles.
And we go to the ninth inning. John Smoltz trying for the save. It would be his 43rd of the year. Dave Hansen is the batter, and 0-1 is the count. It's even now, a ball and a strike. Smoltz leads by 3 in the saves battle over Eric Gagne coming into the day's action. I don't know if Gagne recorded a save or not. Probably
He did.
He did.
Struck out the side, I think, in the ninth inning at Florida.
So he's got 40, and if Smoltz can close this one, he'll lead by 3. Hansen is hitless in 3 tries tonight. He has yet to get the ball out of the infield, as you see. And the 1-2 pitch. There's a good start in the ninth. Smoltz records his first strikeout of the evening.
Good start to the ninth inning. Anytime you can strike out the first batter, but a good split finger pitch got Hansen. This would be John's first save if he can finish it off since August 2nd against the Dodgers.
He really hasn't had many opportunities. Had the one in, well, no, that wasn't even a save opportunity in St. Louis. Line drive, there's a solid hit. Gary Bennett has his second safety of the evening, and he's at first with 1 out.
Tell you what, he came into this series hitting 190, and he's been a thorn in the side of the Braves. That's his 5th hit of the 3-game series.
Gary Matthews Jr. is the batter. He walked his first time. And came around to score. That was an inning ago. Tough man to double. Braves will take 1, though, right here. Merlone is on deck. Look out. You don't want to hit him. It brings a time run to the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
That pitch down and into Matthews, similar to the pitch that he threw down and away to Rondell White that seemed to bother him a little bit. That same, it might be the slider that's affecting him tonight.
A ball and a strike, the count. Well hit into left center field. A long run for Andrew. He'll get there. 2 out. That ball was hit hard. And Lou Merlone is the last hope for the Padres.
Andrew got a terrific jump on that ball. Greg Maddux was talking about him in a column about Andrew Jones today in the paper, about how if you watch Andrew, a lot of times you'll see him moving as the pitch is being delivered. He's anticipating location and where the ball will be hit. That's a gapper against a lot of teams.
He sees things and senses things other people don't. Fans on their feet here. 0-1 the count. ground ball. John wants another baseball. He is persnickety about that. I think I may have to stop in the clubhouse tonight if things end on a winning note for Atlanta and ask John about not getting the hit in this game.
He would, yeah, he would bark at you, that's for sure. And tell you that he's ready.
That's what I live for. 1-2, the count.
He's had a good split finger pitch tonight. He's had an outstanding fastball. Slider's been his third best pitch.
He's one strike away from slamming the door. Ground ball, good play, Castilla. The ball game is over. Vinny does it again. Smoltz picks up the save, and the Braves win 2 out of 3 from the Padres, winning this one tonight 7-4.
Major League Baseball on TBS, brought to you by Aflac. Ask about it at work. The Home Depot. Go from wondering how to knowing how. At the Home Depot, you can do it. We can help. Coca-Cola. Let's make it real. And Office Depot. Everything your kid needs for success.
Braves make it 2 out of 3 over the Padres tonight, and they make it 6 out of 7 for the season series against San Diego. Russ Ortiz becomes the first 17-game winner in the major leagues. Jake Peavy evens his record at 9-9. John Smoltz with his first save in 12 days. The Braves go over the 1.8 million mark in attendance with 23,923 here tonight. The game took 3 hours and 4 minutes. And Javi Lopez tied an Atlanta record, his 8th multi-home run game of the season. It ties the record set by Andres Galarraga back in 1998.
Our next Braves telecast tomorrow at 7:30 on Turner South as Arizona comes to town. We'll have all 4 games of the Arizona series for you. And our next TBS telecast is Tuesday at 10:10 Eastern Time as the Braves travel to San Francisco to face the Giants. Coming up next on the Superstation at Seinfeld, for Joe Simpson, our entire crew, Skip Carey from the ballpark. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow. So long, everybody.